Okay, it's a pleasure to be with you today. We're going to talk about a couple different things that we're doing currently that are live, that are actually happening out there on the street today. And we've been involved in a lot of different things over the years, trying to figure out how we can be smarter and better. At first, of course, like most of you, we didn't call them smart city initiatives. We just, it was IT and trying to figure out how to use technology to make everything better. Want to talk about a couple different things. One's our preemption program, our Travel Safely mobile app, which you can download right now. Smart parking that we have live right now, and then voice assistance. I know you're going to hear about that later, so I won't go into that, but we've got that live now with Alexa and all too. On the preemption program, what is that? Well, let me explain it. With fire departments, and a lot of you have fire departments, you have police departments, we found that we're having a problem. And the problem is that as we grow, things get a little more crowded. It's a lot harder to get our fire trucks and emergency vehicles to the locations they need to go to. And even though we've got a Class 1 rating, which is the highest you can get, we always have to monitor how long it takes us to get to the scene. And if that gets worse, then we've got problems. And we're not going to, if you got a heart attack, you don't want somebody getting there in 8 minutes. You want them there in 4 to 5. So we started looking at technology and trying to figure out what we could do. The real problem that we had was with traffic congestion, which you got on the left side. Obviously, that's tough for a fire truck to get down. But then we found also we kind of outsmarted ourselves in a way, and that we wanted to beautify our city, and so we started putting medians in everywhere. Well, when you have a median that's down near an intersection and you've got people trying to get out of the way of a fire truck coming, they can't go anywhere. And so they're trapped. And so it started causing real problems with our fire department and the response times that they were having. So instead of just saying, well, let's go in and do what you could do, which is build more fire stations so that you have the emergency vehicles closer if it's taking you longer to get to people, which we're building one right now, $4 million in order to do that. And that's not talking about the operational costs that you have on a continual basis. We said, let's look at using technology. Maybe we can be smarter and do it in a different way. So we looked at our networks. And a lot of times you look at networks and you say, maybe I've got a lot of meters that are out there, and you go smart meters with your electric and water meters. Well, we said we've got a lot of traffic signals. So let's look at trying to make them smarter, and let's try to figure out how to tie them in. This kind of is a map showing the different meters that we have all over the city, of the different devices that we've got. Everything from our street lights and our power, our signals as you come in, to the school crossings, to signs that we put out on the road for work zones and everything else. And we said, how can we use that and make it better? We actually came up with a program where we go in and we have installed devices in all of our fire trucks. Those devices are wireless. They all connect in with that network I just showed you all throughout the entire city. And we have created what we call preemption. Now, people have had preemption before, which is just visual preemption. This is citywide, and it's all in the network. And so a fire truck can go from where it starts all the way through our city and never hit a red light. Wherever it goes in the city, it's always going to be green. And that's going to flush through all those people that can't get off the road because of the medians that you have. They don't have to worry about it anymore. They go ahead of the truck. They're out of the way before it ever gets there. What we've been able to see is, as this shows, is we've got a reduction in 8 to 10 seconds per intersection. Now, when you think about that and you've got to go through a crowded city, you're talking minutes that you're able to save when you're trying to get to somebody who's got a medical emergency. So it's an amazing thing, and we're not having to build fire stations and not having to employ more people. We're able to go out and do it through the use of technology. I'm going to show you a little bit kind of about what happens with that, hopefully. There we go. Okay. So this just shows, if the fire truck comes out of the station, at that point, everything ahead of him is going to be green. It tells where he is real time as he's going down the road, flushes through the traffic ahead of him so that they never have to stop. And so as you can see, they've got traffic coming up on the next intersection. On that particular light, it goes green before he ever gets there, gets the traffic moving out of his way, and it goes on through. And it happens everywhere in the city.
You want to stop it or continue?
Yeah, you can go ahead and stop it.
Okay.
Now, what we decided once we found that, and that was a godsend as far as being able to assist us with our public safety efforts, we said, well, look, let's go further. And we got some great partners, which we have some of them here today, but with Applied Information and Temple, which it was a great a couple of companies that were trying to work to figure out, with autonomous vehicles and other things, how can they start tying in networks. We started kind of an incubator and figured out, well, let's go ahead and let's work together and try to experiment real time out in the city. So we tied in every one of our devices that we have in the city. And as far as we can tell right now, we are the only city in the United States that is totally tied in with every traffic device that there is. Now with that, we were able to create an app that you're actually able to go into, and you can download right now. I've got it on my phone. And it ties you into our entire traffic network in the city. And shows you, and I'll show you a video of what we're able to do with that in just a second. But it ties in everything we've got. Everything from, if we want to go in and say, we've got the square closed, and we put up a message board, that message board's tied into your phone. And it can sit there and read the message to you as you're driving up toward the square. I'll show you some different things that it does, but basically this is the way it looks when you mount it in your car. And so that is actually telling you right there that if you're at an intersection, that's telling you you've got 13 seconds for the green light to go straight, and the one going to the left is going to take 8. So that's how precise that it actually gets with what's going on. This is what you do when you're signing up. You go in, you say, I'm going to be either a pedestrian, I'm a bicyclist, I'm driving a car. You go in and you tell it all the different settings that you want and what things that you want it to tell you. This can run underneath anything else you've got. So you can run Waze or anything else, doesn't matter. This is underneath. It does talk to you also, so you don't have to worry about looking at it. It'll use voice commands and tell you what's going on. These are the type of alerts that you get, and we'll show some in a minute. But you can be driving up and not thinking, you're coming up to a red light. All of a sudden it'll tell you, red light approaching. It'll tell you if you're going too fast as you're going toward a red light, and tell you that you're going to have a problem stopping on it. It tells you the intersections. If you're in a school zone, not paying attention, you don't know the lights have started, it'll tell you you're speeding in a school zone, slow down. It reads how fast your car is going at that particular time. It'll also work with cyclists. If there's a cyclist in front of you, it alerts you to that. It tells the cyclist also, and it'll tell you if that fire truck's coming down the road, it'll let you know it's coming up behind you, or it's coming from the right, or wherever it's coming from. And we got a little video. I want to show you kind of the things that do happen, and all the different stuff that's tied into it. So this person's driving into a school zone. It tells you that you're in the school zone, speed limit's 25.
Speeding in school zone.
And then lets you know you need to slow down. Somebody's about to ticket you. Once you slow down, it reads it. It knows you're okay.
Speeding in school zone.
Speed back up, it tells you you're not doing the right thing. It's just going to keep going on it. Also, we have signs out because a lot of people want to slow down traffic in neighborhoods. So we have speed signs out there. They're tied in. So instead of having to read it or just kind of ignore it, it'll actually tell you.
Speeding in slow speed zone.
So if you're in a speed zone that's 35 miles an hour, we've got a sign up there, and you go over 35, it's going to tell you. Work zones, a lot of times, you have people that are in danger because they're out in the street. This will actually let you know with the portable flashing devices that we have that you're coming up to a work zone.
Speeding in work zone.
Let you know you need to slow down for that. I know DOT could probably use that out on the interstate when they have all those issues going on. And then it tells you, what the speed limit is and what's going on with that. But that's from that portable device that's out on the road that we're able to tie it in. Also, as I said, you can have pedestrians. You can sign on as a pedestrian or a cyclist. The cyclist is just being told there's a vehicle approaching from behind. So they know to go ahead and get over. It does the same thing with the car and tells them that they've got one ahead of them. It will do the same thing with a pedestrian.
Get ready for green. And
a lot of people don't pay attention a lot of times when they're at red lights and they're sitting there playing with things, and they take a little too long, people honk at them. You don't need to honk at somebody with this because it tells them they need to pay attention and get going. And so that's how we think that it'll help us also with moving traffic, not only safely, but also moving
Red
traffic.
light alarm.
So there are an awful lot of different things that we have that this will do. We're experimenting with even more. This is a continual process. Like I said, we're the only ones now nationally that have it citywide with this, but we're seeing new ways to develop this every day. And it's been through that collaborative effort that we've had with the two companies that I mentioned that we're experimenting and we're constantly doing it. And then they're using the technology to go out to other places and work in other areas. The latest that we're working on right now, we're working with Cobb DOT, and we're creating a corridor through our city where they can actually tie into the same devices like our fire trucks, and then they can get preemption on the intersections, and they can actually stay on schedule and move a whole lot quicker through our city. So with that's coming up, they're looking at how they're going to equip all their devices now. Next couple things real quickly that we're working on. We do have currently, this is was a live shot when we took it for the screenshot. We are looking at parking apps, and we've actually got, in this particular parking lot, what you're seeing is we have light poles that are tied in with a wireless network and cameras, and they're live time reading all the parking that is in that parking lot. They're showing us every vehicle. They keep track of how long they're there. They alert our police officer when one of them stays too long, and so he knows exactly which one it is. The next phase of what we're doing is we've got all the data over here that shows that we're able to pull from that and take a look at different things. But also what we're going to be able to do with it is we're going to be able to go live with the public, and then they'll be able to look at it and they'll be able to see where the parking spaces are all over our downtown. So that's going to help them. Hopefully they won't look at it while they're driving, but they'll have somebody in the car with them that'll look at it instead of them. But that will hopefully make it a whole lot easier when people are coming to our downtown and figuring it out. We also, as I said, are working. We do have a live skill that is out there with Alexa now, and so you can go on Alexa and ask a lot of questions and get a lot of answers that you would on that. But we're real excited. We've got kind of an incubator going on with everything that we do. This kind of shows the lights and the way the parking officer is able to see what's going on, and kind of what we have to do to configure the light poles to do that with the parking lots. But I want to thank you for the time that we have here, and I want to thank my IT director, Ronnie Barrett, because he's put in a lot of work on all this and does a great job with our team. But thank you.
Any questions for Bill?
Great. No, thank you.